I, 26F, feel like I should warn my brothers, 49M, new girlfriend, 46F, who has underage kids that he sexually abused me at 15 to 17. Update, he suddenly messaged me after a month or two of silence saying that they've broken up. It feels a bit like a reprieve for the trauma side of things, and at least now I have time to figure out my plan of action properly. Thank you to all those who have contributed. My parents are wondering what happened between the two, and it's so difficult to remain silent even though I made that choice long ago. My brother has recently settled down in a different region with a new girlfriend who has underage kids. I have been dealing with PTSD from him grooming and sexually abusing me when I was 15 to 17. I have only told professionals, my best friend, and my partner. None of the family knows. They're all in their 90s, and I feel enough grief as it is without complicating things because of knowing that I will be under 30 with no parents and barely any other family to speak of. I was adopted by my parents when I was 4 and so have known him as my adult brother for as long as I can remember. I'm not sure if I will ever stop grieving the brother I should have had in him, and there's still a part of me that wants to make happy families because of all this. He's never acknowledged it since it stopped and seems content to pretend it never happened. But I know that since I know he's done it once, he's likely to do it again. I feel like I should speak up for the sake of the children. Maybe there's a way to do it anonymously in Australia. I feel so stuck wondering if I should or not, even though my rational side says of course. Please help. Edit, he was 38 and I was 15. Any encouragement or commiseration helps. You being safe should be top priority. Discuss this with your therapist. This is way beyond the scope of an advice sub. A therapist will be able to go through all of your options. Do you feel safe telling her? Do you have someone you can strategize with? Even if you don't have a therapist, a hotline for survivors of incest and sexual abuse can help you work through the possible ramifications and find out if there is a way to do this anonymously. If he hurts anyone else, that is not your fault and is not something you could have prevented, whether or not you tell. You are very brave for seeking advice and thinking of the kids. If you can do it safely, it would be a good thing to do, but your safety comes first. If you need someone to strategize with, I'm a rape crisis counselor. This is something I've always worried about as well. My brother molested me as a child and I've heard stories about his behavior towards women as an adult that really don't bode well. Feel if I were in your situation then I would tell her, and she should really know who she is in a relationship with, especially with vulnerable kids in the picture. Just be prepared for the fallout, as this could even backfire on you. It's likely that it will spread throughout your family, including the 90-year-olds you have been shielding. He may also reach out in anger to blame you, so have a plan for that and how you'll cope with that. Could approach him first or simultaneously as his GF if you have a relationship like that. But I don't think I personally would go this route. There is also the chance that she will completely reject what you say. What will you regret more in the future? That's your answer. If you do tell her, be careful in your approach and make sure you are supported in your decision. Good luck. I'm sorry that you've been through this and I'm glad you have people who understand UX. You should tell her. However, be prepared for the fallout, as this is your word against his. Yeah, I think it's best if you pass this information on to her. What she does with it is her business, but telling her once is a good idea. My 41F boyfriend, 33M, gave me an STD, lied about it, and came clean 11 months later, and blamed the STD on me and that I seduced him. My therapist said it happens a lot and isn't a big deal. That response seems messed up. Is it? Note: I am 1 week new to Reddit. I've never done this before now, talking to people I don't know about serious topics, for advice, direction or support, and I am not sure what to call it. But it is really helpful. I don't have a good sense of right and wrong, since I grew up in a situation where I repressed that instinct. Thank you. Here are the basics. I met my boyfriend of 2 years online. It was my first online date. 3 weeks after meeting, we slept together. The condom didn't fit etc. since it was a natural one, so we didn't use it. He didn't come in me but there was contact. Afterwards, I asked him about his sexual history, and he said the last woman he had been with was his wife of 7 years, which was my understanding beforehand, and why I felt safe having sex. 2 days later it accidentally came up that he had slept with one woman after his wife that he met online, that they slept together twice and that he had used a condom. I asked why he didn't tell me that and he said he didn't want to seem easy or like he sleeps around, and cared what I thought. I asked him about 4 times in the following year, did you definitely use a condom? Since I had high-risk cancerous HPV once, about 15 years earlier, which cleared, and didn't want to get it again. He said yes. I didn't go to get any exams and we had a monogamous relationship without condoms and with BCP. I got my annual exam about 8 months later and had high-risk HPV. He started crying and hyperventilating and said he was crying because he was so sad this was happening. It turns out that he was also crying because he had lied and hurt me. The doctor said watch your stress and it will hopefully go away. He didn't respect this and would scream at me often after this, as he has anger issues. I asked him if he was honest about using protection prior to meeting me and he said yes. About 2 months later he came clean and said he had unprotected sex 3 weeks prior to meeting me and had lied about it for the first 11 months of our relationship. I jaw dropped. I said he put my health at risk, lied to me about it, while saying he loved me, and did nothing health or stress-wise to help my body recover. He broke up for a short while and he begged to get back together, and said he'd make changes, which he made, eat better, smoke less pot, and then recanted because he said he resented them. A month later, it came up in a fight and he blamed the STD on me. He incorrectly recalled the situation and said I seduced him and he had to lie because he wanted to /me and he was thinking with his dick. He didn't remember that he lied to me after we slept together, not before. And he said it was my fault that I got the STD since I put him in that position, so I gave it to myself. I talked to my therapist and she somewhat dismissed this as something people often do, lie about their past, so they can get with their new partner, and so their new partner will stay with them. She acted like this is somewhat okay and understandable. Is this common for a guy and okay to do? Should I stay with him or is this an unrecoverable action? Can I have a good 40 years with him after this? He gaslit you, endangered your health, and does not seem like a very good person. Also your therapist does not sound very good either and I might look into switching to a different one. People commit armed robbery all the time but it doesn't make it okay. If he can lie about having an STD for a year, what else can he lie about? Not a good situation all around. I'm sure it's probably common but I wouldn't say it's okay at all. If it makes you feel bad then it's bad. You need a new boyfriend and a new therapist. Neither of them have your best interests at heart. Honestly, it really is that simple and clear-cut in this scenario. You've posted 8 different times about this guy. You know it's time to break up and move on. You need validation. This is it. He's awful and you shouldn't stay with him. Full stop. Your therapist is a tool, most likely in a bad relationship which he or she also rationalize. You're dating a man-child by the way, and unless you like raising children in their 40s you should move on. So on top of lying, he's literally blaming you for his bad decisions and poor emotional regulation. I have no idea what sorts of relationships your therapist is getting into, but this seems like a lovely collage of red flags to me. That therapist is a hoax. Did they even finish high school? What therapist would say it's not a big deal? Not just about this, but about anything. If a client experiences something as big, it bloody is big. Sister, 10, plus stepbrother, 12, potentially engaging in sexual activities. How to confront this? Guess I'll give the backstory. My mom and dad had 4 kids, 3 boys 1 girl, and then separated years ago, and both have had on and off relationships with partners over the years. My dad recently had a surprise baby a few months ago from a one-night stand. He has decided to settle down with the girl to take care of the baby. The girl also has a 12-year-old son. They have both moved in with my dad. My dad has a 2-bedroom apartment. One room is his and the other is my older brother's room plus his girlfriend's. So when everyone visits my dad, he has a triple bunk bed set up. I'm visiting from college and currently sleep on the couch. I go under the covers before I sleep to sorts get a break from a clustered apartment, and most of the time my family thinks I'm sleeping, which is nice since they leave me alone. The other night the baby mom's kid and my sister watched a movie in the living room till late night when I was sleeping. My dad woke up to them sleeping together but didn't think much of it and told my sister to get up and go to her bed, and then left for work. Then tonight while under the covers I hear the kid and my sister talking about the night. Goes as follows: Sister, my dad wasn't mad, he just told me to go to my bed. Kid, your dad doesn't know we're dating, right? Sister, no he doesn't, thankfully he didn't see me with only my underwear on and no pants, then he might have been. Kid, I forgot to wake you up after so he didn't catch us. At this point I'm pretty concerned and don't think I'm being a overprotective brother. I'm just looking for advice on how to approach this. Please interfere and say something to them or your dad. When I was younger, one of my friends always wanted to play the sex game, and honestly this sounds something similar. Genuinely fucked me up for life, even though I didn't understand the problem at the time. For the sake of both of their mental health, step in before it goes too far. This is way above our pay grade. Go to your parent. It isn't unusual for kids to be curious, but just being in underwear is going too far. This is also the age for kids to start having crushes, so having an unrelated person in the house, it's not surprising as they're young enough they don't really understand the grossness of the situation. It's like if a classmate suddenly started living with them. Nowadays we don't know what dating means, it could be just holding hands for them or it could go farther, we simply don't know enough about them as people. This has to be nipped in the bud right away. Tell your parents ASAP. If you can, try to eliminate the opportunities that they have to be together alone as well. People underestimate the level of sexuality the kids have these days. At 12 years / oh boy, already sleeping with stepsister or having that much liberty of approaching at night is dangerous. God knows porn is out there and no one is an angel at that age. They are already dating, so why not do what adults do? You can do anything except be quiet or ignore the situation. If they're dating, they're kissing, and what will come next? She's your sister, I'd say, talk to her first, give her some advice. If she ignores you, then talk to your father. But you have to do something. I think you need to just tell your dad what you heard. You can say that you don't know what all they meant, but this is what was said. Your dad and his partner are going to have to help their kids understand appropriate behavior and set appropriate boundaries.